all praises, all praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, and all there is. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. Hello, family. We are back together again as we converge in our consensual assembly of love, peace, harmony, joy, as we come together to receive, as we perceive, to believe. And my greetings and salutations and petitions of peace to the 12 tribes of the house of Israel, as well as my brothers and sisters of the world, the pending Israelites. I hope you are walking and sojourning in serenity and supreme peace. And so, family, we are back together again, where we have donned the spiritual armor, our sword and shield of the Revelations.Unveiled Detroit channel standards of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6, and Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8. And as we have put on this spiritual armor and we get ready to head back into the battle, we are once again confronted by the travesty and confusion of transgenderism. And so I've come across some interesting information as it pertains to us reviewing the inner details and workings of this satanic spirit, as this wicked political agenda is continually being pushed on the sensible, the spiritual, the traditional and conservative values and integrity of the common man, and more specifically of the holy hidden nation. And so, family, as we become still, as we become quiet, as we are enjoying the light and the fire of the beings of the soul, we shall begin to fortify once again in our beliefs and our stances against the wickedness being hurled at us here on this continent of confusion and our carnal captivity. And so, tonight's article is entitled, "Hundreds of Young Trans People Seeking Help to Return to Original Sex." Very interesting. So it seems that even within this community that is a part of the alphabet family, the LGBTQ RSTUV community, the community of confusion, we will now dive into understanding of this transgender travesty. And we began. Hundreds of young transgender people are seeking help to return to their original sex, Sky News has learned. According to a charity being set up to help them, many members of the transgender community are detransitioning, and the numbers may increase further. The number of young people seeking gender transition is at an all-time high, but we hear very little, if anything, about those who may come to regret their decisions. All right, family, so now we get to pull away some of the layers of the rotten onion of this community and spirit of transgenderism that has encapsulated our young people in confusion. So we must stand firm on a premise. These young people are teenagers, those from the time of 13 to 19. They are still babies. their mental faculties have not fully formed and formulated for them to make a coherent, long-term, conscious decision about their lives, in which one aspect is their sexuality. So, family, we must be there as guides and structures as they endure the confusion of this hormonal influx besieging them, so that they can come out of it making the right long-term life decisions for their overall happiness. There's currently no data to reflect the number who may be unhappy in their new gender or who may opt to detransition to their biological sex. Charlie Evans was born female but identified as male for nearly 10 years. Last year, she detransitioned and went public with her story and said she was stunned by the number of people she discovered in a similar position. All right, family, so a young lady, she was born a female and went about to impersonate the look and lifestyle of a man for nearly 10 years. She detransitioned, so I'm going to assume that she stopped taking any medicinal or hormonal treatments that would have her body appear in the masculine form. I'm in a communication with 19 and 20-year-olds who have had full gender reassignment surgery, who wish they had not, and their dysphoria hasn't been relieved. They don't feel better for it, she says. All right, family, so within that was a lot. There are gender reassignments, which is they have surgically mutilated themselves. Young men who are removing their phalluses. Young women who are cutting off their bosoms. This is in response to a mental disorder called gender dysphoria, where the victim believes that his spiritual essence was put into the wrong physical container, i.e., I feel like a woman even though I was born as a man, or I feel like a man even though I was biologically born as a woman. They don't know what their options are now, Charlie says. She says she has been contacted by hundreds of people seeking help. 30 people alone in her area of Newcastle. I think some of the common characteristics are that they tend to be around their mid-20s. They're mostly female and mostly same-sex attracted, and often autistic as well. Wow, family. So she put a lot of points in there. So we have a demographic of the mid-20s, mostly female, who are same-sex attracted or of the lesbian lifestyle, but she then interjects autism, which is a developmental mental issue as well. Very interesting for our considerations. She recalls being approached by a young girl with a beard who hugged her after giving a public talk, who explained she was a detransitioned woman too. She said she felt shunned by the LGBT community for being a traitor, so I felt I had to do something. All right, so a young lady with a beard came up and hugged her. Okay, so I guess it takes some time. Well, if you got a beard, young lady, you can shave. Continuing, Charlie is now launching a charity called the Detransition Advocacy Network. Their first meeting is set to be held in Manchester at the end of the month. All right, family, so this location is in England, Newcastle, England. Sky News went to meet one person who has contacted Charlie's network for help. She did not want to be identified, so her name was changed. Ruby, who is now 21, but first began identifying as male at 13. After taking testosterone, her voice got a lot deeper. She grew facial hair. Her body also changed. She had been planning to have surgery to remove her breasts this summer. However, in May, Ruby voiced the growing doubts she had been harboring and made the decision to come off testosterone and detransition to identify as female. I don't think any change was going to be enough in the end, I thought. I thought it was better to work on changing how I felt about myself than changing my body, says Ruby. So fam, Ruby was dealing or coming to terms with her current condition, how she was feeling about herself, her self-esteem, and she made a decision that as opposed to the surgical mutilation, she would begin working on herself, her esteem, her mind frame as the actual female she was. I've seen similarities in the way I experience gender dysphoria, in the way I experience other body images as well. So family, actually, Ruby wasn't dealing with a transgender issue. Ruby was dealing with the issue of gender dysphoria. For everyone who has gender dysphoria, whether they are trans or not, I want to be there to be more options for them. Because I think there's a system of saying, okay, here are your hormones, here's your surgery, and off you go. I don't think that is helpful for anyone. The Tavistock and Portman NHS Trust offers gender identity services for children under 18, with some patients as young as 3 or 4. So let's see. There's an institution that's offering services. So family, you know what? The snare, the corruption is the sexualization of this mental disorder, which is gender dysphoria. And it's even more so wicked because we are now identifying the root cause of this condition, and it's affecting our young people, but we are allowing them to play dress up to the detriment of their overall spiritual status. So we must grab our swords a little bit more tighter, firm up our hold on those shields, and get ready to march even faster. They now have a record number of referrals. And see, 3,200% more patients than they did 10 years ago, with an increase for girls up by 5,337%. With referrals at a record high, it suggests cases of detransition will rise as well. In a statement, a trust spokesperson said, "Decisions about physical intervention made in our care are arrived at after a thorough exploration process. While some of our patients may decide not to pursue physical treatment or drop out of treatment, the experience of regret described here is rarely seen. Gender transition has positive outcomes for many people, and even talking about detransition is viewed by some as transphobic." That's a very deep statement, family. So the proponents of this disorder, this defect, they are pushing in the political realm of word use to indicate that a person who may be coming back to their senses and realizing, I am a man, I should live as a man, look like a man, act like a man, and vice versa as well for the women. Detransitioning out of their mental disorder is viewed as being transphobic. So family, we cannot be afraid of these terms. We cannot let them throw these terms at us to make us withdraw our staunch opposition to this wicked carnality and debauchery. But some believe further research and more discussion is needed in treating people with gender dysphoria, as well as more options for them other than gender transition. I agree. So family, with this further review, with our continuing battle against this transgender travesty, we're becoming more astute and enlightened to the actual condition, which is gender dysphoria. And it can be coupled with the condition of autism. And also described within this article were eating disorders. So actually there is a self-esteem glitch within these people who are victimized with this reprobate spirit. We must treat the mental disorder that is causing them to act out in these alternative actions, beliefs, and demonstrations. All right, family. So as we continue to petition in prayer for protection and peace from the holy power creator of all imagination, we shall endure and persevere with the goal to overcome. And so we shall reconvene. We shall continue to practice with the weapons of war, which is the word, and keep our carnal containers that hold our supreme spirits of light in practice for the next upcoming skirmish and battle in this continuing war. And until we are together again, I love you. I love you. I love you. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit.